Hello everyone, I'm Karen Holmes Ward. Welcome to Cityline. The film Hidden Figures, out now, tells the untold story of three black women making a big impact at NASA during the space race of the 1960s. Working at Langley Research Center in Virginia, a state that ignored the federal commands of desegregation, these women, played by Taraji P. Henson, Octavia Spencer, and Janelle Monáe, defied the standards of race and gender in the space program to make an indelible mark on history. So why has this story gone for so long unknown by so many? And who's working to show young girls, particularly young girls of color, that they can achieve the same success? Joining us now is Dr. Oneeka Williams, author of the Dr. D Dynamo series, which follows a young black girl on her adventures in the sciences and in space. She also serves on the board of overseers at Boston's Museum of Science. Dr. Oneeka Williams, how are you today?
I am very well, thank you. And yourself?
Well, this movie is doing great at the box office. I think opening weekend it won the box office. What does that tell us about interest in this movie and the topic?
That tells us that the topic is timely, it is now, it is extremely, extremely important, and it's exciting to see the country mobilize around the importance of the message.
I had a chance to see the movie, and some of the opening scenes show a very young black girl in her elementary school classroom. The teacher asks her to come up to the blackboard and do a math problem, and she just goes well beyond what the teacher expected. And I have to tell you, when I saw that opening scene, I thought about you as a child, because I know you have a great background in science, and your interest started as a child as well.
Indeed, it did, and it's interesting that it resonated with you in that way, because two things in terms of my childhood exposure. My mom was a science teacher, and so from very, very early we had just these very exciting exposures to all things science. And secondly, I knew I wanted to do medicine from about the time that I was 10 or 11, and I was in an all-girls school which did not offer physics. And as I had done the research, I knew that I needed physics to be able to go to medical school. At that time, I was looking at medical schools in London and in the Caribbean. And so my parents advocated that this is unacceptable. Why do girls not have an opportunity to do physics? And our daughter needs to be able to do physics to do medicine. So I was transferred to the boys' school, where I was the only girl in a class of about 30 boys to be able to do physics. And it speaks to the importance of, one, the recognition of talent, the importance of advocacy around making sure that kids realize their potential. And both my teachers and my parents recognized that and did an incredible job in promoting the importance of allowing me to have those opportunities. And I think this is what we also see at the beginning of Hidden Figures, is that understanding and recognition of how do we advocate and make sure that our kids have the opportunities.
And not only that, to make girls feel comfortable that they can achieve in those roles.
Absolutely. The gender bias was real, is still real, and that's one of the reasons that I've written Dr. D Dynamo.
Yeah,
that
tell me
role
about
modeling
that.
is very important.
Okay, so we fast forward to Dr. D Dynamo. I know we have some pictures of some of the book covers. This is Dr. D Dynamo's Saturn Surprise. There's another one, Dr. D Dynamo's Mission to Pluto, and Dr. D Dynamo's Meteorite Mission. Correct. Perfect fit for this Hidden Figures discussion. Why did you decide to write the books?
I decided to write the books because I was very concerned about the lack of representation of women in science, technology, engineering, and math. I was concerned about the stereotypic images of who scientists are. And one of the most common things that I encounter when I walk into an examining room is, you don't look like a surgeon. And so it's an opportunity to educate and to expose everyone, especially girls, to this understanding that you can be anything that you want to be, that you can be powerful, you can change the world. Dr. D Dynamo is a superhero, and this mission is about empowering, educated, and planting that seed so early, because ultimately childhood development is based on exposure and experiences that build knowledge, that help you to understand what you can be.
What are some of the continuing themes through all of these books?
The continuing themes is about how do you make a difference? How do you help? How do you use scientific knowledge to apply to a problem? So it's problem solving. And how do you maintain a positive attitude where you believe that not even the sky is the limit, that things that have not been done can be done. And I think Mission to Pluto is a prime example. When I wrote the book, there had never been a space probe that had made it to Pluto. And subsequently, the New Horizons space probe made it to Pluto for the very first time, and now we know so much more about Pluto. So someone had an idea, had a vision, had a dream, and even though it had never been done, they believed, they persevered, they had the discipline, and we live to see the story unfold. And I think that's an important message for children. Always have the creative and innovation and vision to believe that you could do anything.
Tell me about the success of the book series. I think you told me there's some interesting plans for the future.
Yes, indeed. So the books have been very well received. We've written curriculum around them. They're in many schools being used as anchor text because the importance of not only reading, but how this is integrated into a Common Core approach in fundamental tools for scientific literacy is based on reading. So we're using them in schools, they're in libraries. They are currently going to be, or shortly going to be available in the Museum of Science, gift shop, and around the world. And there's so many sort of different types of partnerships. One of the things that is coming up soon is there will be a book tour about Black women in medicine film series, and the book will be going on tour with those folks so that the exposure is building, the recognition, the visibility is building. And one of the things, I think the thing that is most gratifying for me is that every child or parent who comes into contact with the book have an incredible response where the kids want to read the book every night. They see themselves in it, they see the empowerment in it, they learn so much, and it grows with the children. The 1-year-old takes something different away than the 12-year-old. So ultimately, it has been a very, very, very gratifying experience
Well,
so
congratulations on the Dr. Dee Dee Dynamo series and your appointment to the Board of Overseers at the Museum of Science. I know you're going to be helping them bring more families of color into the museum. And today, you're taking a group of about 400 young women, 400 students, to see Hidden Figures, along with some other groups.
So the Psi Omega and the Rho Epsilon Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated has planned an activity with a private showing, a viewing of the Hidden Figures on Sunday, which is sold out.
Yes, that's
and
great.
I'll be taking some of the upper elementary school kids from Jack and Jill, but we will all be convening families, young and old, to be able to have this community appreciation and exercise in viewing what is just this incredible film.
And another way to encourage STEM education. Thank you,
Yes.
Dr. Williams, for being here.